Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Cyrus. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for the support and be sure to subscribe if you are yet to do so. In today's video, I want us to take a look into the situation of the New Force movement led by Nana Kwame Bediako in Ghana's last year's elections. It's been 3 months already, ladies and gentlemen, after December of last year's elections. Many are asking, what's next for the New Force and its leader, Nana Kwame Bediako? Is he gearing up for another presidential bid or will he not? And what should his followers be doing in the meantime? Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we dive into the future of the New Force movement, the lessons from last year's elections, and whether Nana Kwame Bediako is already preparing for 2028. Now, let's get into it. Let's first begin by reflecting on the elections. The New Force made a bold entry into Ghana's political scene last year, challenging traditional parties, the MPP, the NDC. There were lots of goodwill from people from both sides of the main two parties, if you remember. And it appeared the youth were buying his message at some point. The commitment from individuals, ladies and gentlemen, who chose to use their own resources to push the agenda of the New Force was quite sizable. And for a minute, it looked as though the New Force was going to be a legit third force. Don't get me wrong, the New Force is the third force in Ghana's political elections now, but not at the capacity we all expected. But how did we really perform, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get into that. Well, we couldn't secure a 1% total vote, even though the predictions suggested we could land at least 5%. We actually got 84,478 votes, representing 0.75% of the total votes cast. Meaning, on the average, Nana Kwame Bediako received 5,278 votes in each of the 16 regions. For a first-timer, most people would say that that's a decent score. But for some movement hopefuls like us, that was way below what we expected, especially for those of us who committed ourselves to campaigning for him. The number was 84,478 total votes. Now, what could have been the main challenges, ladies and gentlemen? I have done my research and analysis on the elections and concluded that the core reason Nana Kwame Bediako couldn't get at least 3% of the total votes cast was simply because the vast majority of Ghanaians did not know him. They didn't know who Nana Kwame Bediako was. Now, when I say they don't know him, it's not about recognizing his face on a billboard or on TV or seeing videos of his campaign and his wealth on demonstration. It's not about that. It's about knowing him for the things he has done in Ghana, which is popularly known to the people. Let me give you an example. When I mention Mahama, when I mention Baumia, Ken Ejapon, or Alan Tremantin, people easily recognize them for their roles as politicians. So they are politicians. They are known as either members of parliament, vice president, or ministers of state. But when Nana Kwame Bediako's name is mentioned, it is a blank space, and you have to be honest, in Ghana, because he doesn't have any base when it comes to district assembly, constituency, or region. That's the unknown I'm referring to. Our guy is unknown. The public perception of our guy has to do with what they see or hear from a long distance away about Nana Kwame, and not anything they can relate with. So that's where the changes will have to begin from, ladies and gentlemen, which is either he starts businesses that brings him in contact with the ordinary Ghanaian, like, say, farming, or he resolves to running for a member of parliament, which I think he's not going to consider that. Now, whatever the case may be, you cannot dominate in numbers unless you have a support base. This is the fact of elections. Now, while the results may not have favored the New Force, their presence has undeniably shaken things up. Nana Kwame Bediako managed to sell himself all over the country to people who saw him for the very first time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not a small feat. The big question, however, is this: what is next? Will Nana Kwame Bediako run again? That is the question. Will he attempt another run in 2028? Are there any signs that indicate he might? For instance, through his recent public statements or continued grassroots engagement and strategic alliances? Is there anything like that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, not really to me, but his people, as of recent times, sent out a short video describing how Ghana's economy is and how to overcome inflation. And Hubert is in charge of economics of the movement. So, to some extent, there are signs of his interest to rerun. And we just hope when he elects himself to run again, this time, he will do so through a political party and not a movement. And in the meantime, this is what his supporters can do. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to stay engaged in political discussions and forums. We have to continue building grassroots support and spread the message using all manner of means, whether social media, television, radio, and local networks, to keep the momentum going, ladies and gentlemen. The journey doesn't end here. If the new force is serious about change, then the groundwork starts now. Nana Kwame Bediako will have to put himself back together, get more financial support if he has to, quickly put the structure together for a political party, and then try again. Should he build alliances? Absolutely. He will have to engage other independent candidates, like, for instance, Kofi Krantin and others, and it will have to start now, ladies and gentlemen. Egos will have to be set aside in this process. One thing is for sure, this is just the beginning of the movement, and a lot of compromises, ladies and gentlemen, the word is compromises, will have to be made to grow the party's popularity. It will be a testament of how much Nana Kwame Bediako can be a team player and not just play a team. And new people will come with new ideas and challenges. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you love the ideas of Nana Kwame and you want him to rerun or run again, you should find a way to communicate that to him. I personally don't have his contact, and so connecting with me to him won't bring you any success. And I want to make that clear. All in all, the NDC party has just read their first budget and will soon roll out their policies. As typical of Ghanaian politicians, they will start well and eventually corrupt themselves, and that's when other parties become attractive, ladies and gentlemen. And so it's important that preparations are done ahead of time to get the appeal of voters when that time comes. We are waiting to see their performance, and I'm talking about the NDC, and hope they do best for this country. We wish Nana Kwame Bediako all the best, and we wish the current regime all the best. I'm talking about the NDC. May Ghana win at the end of it all. God bless you, and thank you for making time to watch today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification so you don't miss our updates on Ghana's political future. It's bye-bye for now.